Hello everybody, I'm here to play some Sasha Darko's Sacred Line. This is the Genesis version, released in 2015, produced by Watermelon Games, that is the same company that released Pure Solar in 2010 for the Genesis. Since then that game has been ported to Steam and all sorts of new consoles, but this is sort of a visual novel. There are a couple battles in it. I think this had a freeware PC version at some point, but this is now all running on an actual Genesis. I bought a physical copy, and we're going to play through it, so let's just do that. Blah, blah, blah. One day, while I was sitting in my chair and thinking that my private detective business was fading faster than a winter sun, I decided to close it, even knowing that I probably wouldn't find another job in that fucking shithole. Wow, that's vulgar. On that exact day, I got the strangest phone call in my life. A hardly identifiable voice, nearly drowned out by noise, told me about some forest outpost and its position, asking me to drive there immediately. I could barely hear the voice because of the background noise, but for some reason it seemed very familiar to me. It could have been some dumb prank or psychopath, but there was something strange about this voice. That sounds like a great idea. Greatly intrigued, I packed my stuff and started the car. Several hours later, I finally discovered the place near a closed but well-guarded military base, which was hidden in the woods. I left my car and moved into the depths of the forest. I found a cabin that looked abandoned, but that was just a camouflage. Alright, so there's kind of some weird audio popping. Do you hear that? Now, I've tried this in multiple Genesi through, your normal composite and RF, and it seems like the sound is part of the game. Now I'm aware that this game doesn't actually work in Model 1s. The reprint of Pure Solar and this, which was presumably printed at the same time, they don't work in Model 1 Mega Drives, so I wonder if this audio mishap would be fixed if it was in a different Genesis. But anyways, that's fine. It was surrounded by huge walls, and there was only one door. Thankfully, it was opened. Yeah, thankfully. After passing by the walls, I turned around, noticed one thing, and couldn't believe it. The sky had turned completely red. I guess you can interpret that as the sky. Confused, I looked at the cabin. Despite the light of one visible bulb, it looked completely abandoned. Nothing looked right in there. Well, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's enter the cabin. The floor was covered with blood. The doors were smashed up on the ground, their hinges nearby. I love the overscan. Genesis games always did this with overscan. They'd have like different color backgrounds. Well, I believe in going left before right. I looked around. It wasn't a habitable place. Ooh. It was some sort of an outpost, a place where you visit often but don't actually live. An empty bottle and bowl, along with a bed and overturned table, danced in their light of a still burning fire. There was a book on the bed. I also noticed a flashlight behind the table. We'll get the flashlight. Read the book. As I read the book, I learned it was the diary of some Spanish butcher who had once guarded the place. The book was very sticky, and there were a lot of grammar. Is that intentional? So they updated like the writing, as far as I could tell. That's what they said from the PC version. Is this there were a lot of grammar mistakes in it. That just sounds wrong to me. I'm no grammar expert. Day 12. Forestado trespassed. Not good. I killed this cabron. Oh, wow. Cabron. My friend Diego from the village. Oh, from village? From. Gave me other meat today. Tourists again. Not too much. Need more for project. Day 14. Today's night watch was quiet. Time to get back to village. Day 15. Hungry. Eat doggy food. Sorry. Generator no working. Not good. Need to inform Master Daniel. I put the diary back in its place and decided to leave the room. But there's like a glowing whatever. The floor was covered with blood. The doors were smashed up on the ground. Sorry. The room was a bloody mess. It seemed to be a place where the butcher was cutting his victims and, as I figured out, where he himself was slaughtered as well. The cellar was opened, and through a misty wall of pure darkness, I could hear water gurgling. Let's jump into the hole. I jumped into the blood river, and it was totally disgusting. The smell was unbearable. I was in complete darkness. I turned on my flashlight and looked around. It was some kind of sewer system, with one exception. The flow consisted of blood, pressed bones, and flesh. Somehow I handled it all. I knew I could. The way in front of me was blocked by bars. In front of me was blocked... What? Oh, I reread the same line. Sorry, that's kind of a thing I do sometimes. So I kept walking to find another way out. Did anyone else have that problem? Where you're just like reading a line or something, then you end up reading... Never mind. Sometime later, I came to a dead end. There was a door on the right and a hole straight ahead. I couldn't open that fucking door. There wasn't even a lock. I sat on the floor and cried. There was no way out except by jumping into the hole, and I thought it was the end. Jump. After sitting and thinking about my situation, my flashlight started to flicker, frantically shaking it up and down. I noticed movement in front of me. I aimed the light at it, but there was nothing. It took several seconds for me to realize that it was the darkness itself, or something using it as camouflage. With a dying flashlight and this false darkness around me, there was no choice but to jump. So I did. Seconds before, I saw spikes and withered corpses waiting for me at the bottom. I began to feel my body disappear. I can now say that I felt I was teleported. I was taken to a lush and fertile valley. I couldn't stop admiring my beautiful surroundings. The hell is wrong with you, man? / woman? There was a large pulsing star in front of me. Somehow, it calmed me and made me pay attention to it. Suddenly, it began to form words in my head, explaining everything to me. Welcome, Ellen. Okay, I'm a female. This is a small portion of my own dimension, which I created for myself. You wish to know who I am? And to be truthful, I do not know for sure. I am a product of energy with my own mind and with certain tasks to perform. Your death from that fall was imminent, but I was able to transport you here at the last moment. You discovered a lair belonging to an ancient sect called Holy Intentions. Last night, that sect achieved its main objective. I like when punctuation is within the quotations, because that's the correct way to do it. For centuries, and with the aid of government connections, members have performed human sacrifices. In their rituals, they embrace all the human evil and hatred in the world, the degeneration of humanity. The sect finally triggered a source of great power, which I call the Betrayer. It had much to offer the scum of the earth, as well as its own mission to establish a totalitarian fascist regime. It would destroy all who sought to oppose it. Ironically, the Betrayer killed all the members of the sect, stripping them of their very flesh. Now it uses their skeletons as its undead servants. Beneath their base, you will find a subterranean desert. That is where the sect was founded. They called it the Red Desert because of the shining red stones they used to fashion their first temple. Now it sits abandoned and in ruin, but a portal was open there. Its purpose is unknown, but I can feel its unusual energy. Try to find it by following the shining stones. Beware of the forces of the betrayer. He will definitely try to stop you. You may stop it temporarily or shut its eyes, but you cannot physically kill it. Now walk through the forest and return to your dimension. And I walked. When I emerged back in this horrible place, I found that the door was now opened. With no doubts in my mind, I entered. Checkpoint. Okay, that's like a save. It was some sort of reception desk. There was a table with a laptop computer, which I immediately checked. Unfortunately, its battery was drained. A note sat next to it. Dennis, if those new ones fail the test, don't kill them, okay? Just put them in the sewer alive this time. I want to see if they can get out of there or not. Daniel. On my left, I could see an open door, but I didn't know what was inside because it was too dark. There was a sign which said, Final Test. To my right, I saw that I could proceed further. Well, that's the final test. Let's ignore it. It was the beginning of my short expedition there. The whole place was covered in blood, and bare skeletons were lying on the ground. What's up? They were not merely strewn about, but carefully placed in various poses. They appeared to be recent, and it seemed as though someone had cut off all of their flesh. I stumbled across a room called Science Lab, but it was deserted. A table, a forklift, and several empty barrels were the only things remaining. I continued on my way. There was a small office. Someone had left a note there. They're relocating toxic components right now. I wonder what for. On the back of the note, I found another line. Well, hey, these things just snap right off. It was a familiar phrase, but I couldn't remember where I had first heard it. Seeing nothing else of interest, I continued with my expedition. A room called Master's Room was definitely some type of control center on that floor. It was pretty dark, only being illuminated by 2 small table lamps. However, being comfortably furnished with sofas, tables, lockers, desks, and a giant flat-screen TV, it looked totally high-end, especially considering the other rooms in this place. It looked like a teacher's room from my elementary school. Next to another lying skeleton was a table with a note on it. Personal Watch Journal. Janitor on duty, Jessica Levinsky. November 28th. Daniel, don't sign up any fucking Russians. Please. That Russian novice Ivan in our group. That petty, dumb motherfucker is disgusting. I caught him in the bathroom eating his own shit. Well, rough times. That's not just because of poor rations or out of hunger, but because he's too fucking nuts. I beat him quite hard. But then he asked for more. I couldn't say a single word. I sent him to undergo psychological evaluation, but I suggest just killing that piece of shit anyway. He's quite you are what you eat, so. November 30th, this Jackson guy, he's always taking some notes. He's definitely crazy, but still not fucked up like that Russian. I'll watch him. December 1. Daniel, I understand that all of our brainwashed meat is coming from the third world, but why on earth don't any of them know any English? How am I supposed to teach them? I'm tired of beating them. They just won't learn. And never send us those fucking Chinese shits. Wow, this guy's a shitbag. I just have no words. Burn them. How'd they learn their ABCs anyway? They have many more letters than 26, believe it. It's quite rough for them. Mandarin and Cantonese and there's Taiwanese, and the picture was clear since I had seen stuff like this before. The whole place was a base for some totalitarian religious cult, and that note came from one of the sect superiors. Can we not say totalitarian anymore, because I never read it right. Just don't put that there. They must have one group per floor. What they were praying for was still a mystery. On the other side of the room, I could see some kind of handmade console on the wall. It was made of a simple PC keyboard. Next to the console, there was a table with a note on it. But what kind of keyboard was it? Is it a mechanical keyboard? These are the questions that I want to know. Daniel, you're undoubtedly the respectable leader of our group, but why the fuck did you use our only PC for the console terminal, and what are you hiding there? Just try to enter some code? I had no idea what it was about and just trusted my intuition. The fuck? Those seem like stupid numbers. The wall with the console rose, and what the heck? It was a place that looked like an operating room or a TV studio, and a cat was sitting on a chair and meowing into a microphone. A small cat was controlling everything. It was a revelation for me, not just that I'm part of a Mega Drive game, no. What? I always suspected this since I could see everything around me in only 64 colors. The biggest thing was that cats rule this world. They weren't just producing lots of videos of themselves and filming human pornography every day. They actually controlled the world itself. I guess I need a break. You need one too, player. Come back to the main menu, start again, and get me another ending. This one is too shocking for me. What the fuck is this game? What the? This game's amazing! The end. Boom! That's it. Beat the game. Well, that's Sacred Line Genesis. I guess that's one ending. I mean, this has to be an episodic thing, right? I guess I end it there? I mean, this is episode 1. I pretty much got the best ending. I think that's the best ending, right? See you guys for episode 2. Later.